Hey winners, Kevin Ward here at YesMasters.com, and I am so honored today to be sitting here with Sandra Joseph, who starred on Broadway as the female lead as Christine in Phantom of the Opera. And I'm going to let her tell us a little bit about that. Now, you did that on Broadway. How long did Phantom of the Opera run on Broadway?
Phantom of the Opera is still running on Broadway as we speak. It's in its 25th year on Broadway, and I actually was there as Christine longer than anybody else for well over 1,000 performances. I did the show on and off on Broadway for 10 years.
So 10 years. Okay, so in 10 years you said you did probably around 1,200?
12 or 13, something. I didn't count exactly.
12 or 1,300 performances as playing one role on one musical for 10 years straight. So I want to ask first, I want to talk about that experience, but I also want to find out a little bit about how you got into Broadway, how you broke in, a little bit about, did it just like you showed up one day and auditioned
overnight.
And they're like, you're a star, or how'd that work?
No, it was a long road getting there. I auditioned several times. At the first audition, I was so frozen in fear that I could barely move. I was suddenly completely out of my body, and the song was sort of coming out of my mouth, but I was just like a singing head, frozen from the neck down. But I did well enough that I got put in the chorus of the show as the understudy to Christine. And then my second audition, they brought me back again to audition, and I decided, okay, I'm not going to be frozen this time, so I moved around and I did big gestures, and I was again not connected to the material and not really being honest and real, which is what they're looking for. So finally, the third audition, I knew that the only way that I was going to be successful was to show them my heart and just not let my fear and nerves get the best of me, but to just bring my authentic self into the character and show up and make a connection with the director. And it worked. That's when I got the part.
Now, was it easy for you? Did you ever get discouraged or feel like quitting or I'm never going to make it on Broadway? Were there moments
sure.
like that?
There were years. I went to New York from my hometown of Detroit. My family did not have a lot of money. No one in my family, no one I knew had ever been to New York. It seemed like the craziest, most out-of-reach dream imaginable. So my dad made a suggestion. He said, why don't you give yourself 5 years? Just go to New York.
Wow,
give yourself a 5-year plan and go to every audition you can. If nothing happens, then you'll figure out plan B. So I spent 4.5 years working every survival job I could get and being rejected over and over and over again.
Oh my goodness. So this wasn't like try it 5 weeks and stop. This was like try it 5 years.
Plan, yeah. And I had a little bit of success, enough to keep me going. I had gotten an agent. I did some stuff outside of New York. I was singing and dancing on a cruise ship, but I was never getting the big roles and not really breaking through until just before I was ready to pack it up and move back home.
Wow. So did you ever feel like, Sandra, you were just, I'm going to give it a shot, or did you feel like, I'm going to do this? Tell me about your mindset that allowed you to stay with it for so many years without getting discouraged, without quitting. What kind of mindset and mental toughness did that take?
I love it because I'm so not a business person. I don't know anything about, but the more I'm learning, now I'm a speaker, and the more speaking engagements I do, the more I'm around business people, I hear these words like mindset and mental toughness and things like that, which for people like me, it was more of a heart set. It was so deep in my heart, and it felt like my soul just I would just die if I didn't do it. It was so deep and such a passion, and the love, it really came from, I love this so much that I'm willing to fail over and over again. I'm willing to pick myself up after rejection over and over again, because I love this and it's what I feel like I'm supposed to do.
Wow. So we've talked, and as you and I've discussed, I coach real estate agents, and so I talk to real estate agents about, don't just try this, you got to commit and you got to go after it and so forth, and have that mental toughness that this is what I'm supposed to do and be passionate about it and so forth. Now tell us about becoming a Broadway, not just a Broadway celebrity, but a Broadway star, but just being a singer. We talk about the importance of learning how to perform and really master your craft. So your performance would be how long when you performed like the musical, when you actually performed the Phantom of the Opera? How long was the performance?
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. So that's a pretty long performance.
Yeah.
How many hours would you say a week for those years you practiced?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I started taking private voice lessons when I was 16, and I still take private voice lessons to this day. I put in countless hours training, taking singing, acting, dancing lessons, and reading books, and trying to develop myself personally, because you better have some skills in order to be able to bounce back from rejection over and over again. You know, spiritual development, personal development. So it was countless hours.
Wow. So there are singers, and then there are people who really know how to perform that actually make it on Broadway like you did.
I think you really have to persevere. You have to be very self-motivated, and you have to be willing to continue to pursue it even when things are looking bleak, which they will at times. And you never know. This is the thing, and I suspect it's true in the real estate business as well. You never know what's right around the corner. That one big yes that can change everything in your whole life like that. And you can't see it sometimes.
Right.
But it might just be the next phone call you make, or the next audition you go to, that can open up things. And being in Phantom changed my life forever. I married my co-star. I married the Phantom. Isn't that romantic?
That's awesome. Hopefully your life is not as dramatic as the musical.
Comedy and tragedy, that's everyone.
So, and I was thinking about, or talk is thinking about how this relates to real estate agents. I teach agents all the time about the importance of learning their scripts and learning what to say and how to say it. So, Phantom of the Opera, every word, every motion, every movement was scripted, right?
Yes.
How did you make it you and be natural so that when you did it, it did not look like you were singing somebody else's song, but it was actually coming from your heart and your soul and not just somebody else's words?
Yes. Well, you have to bring your authentic self to the character and make it as real for yourself as possible so that the audience connects with you. And I think in any business that you're in, the more you can bring of your true self and use what's real for you and show your authentic heart, then people connect to you. And that's when they want to work with you. So it really was all about every single night remembering it's a different audience. Yes, I'm saying the same lines, singing the same songs, but for that audience, there's someone there who's hearing it for the very first time. So I have to make it fresh for myself each and every time.
Did you ever get bored?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Even in the performance itself?
Well, once you start, your adrenaline kicks in and you feel the energy of the audience, right. But ultimately, I think professional performers, you care so much about doing a good job. You want to do your best every time for yourself and for the audience. You know, we were talking earlier about always being audience-centric, or I don't know what you would call it in your language.
Well, be client-centered.
Client-centered.
It's about them, not about you, and that's how what you said.
Yes, that you have to remember whenever I'm on stage, it's not about me. I'm there to serve the audience, to tell the story, to give them an experience.
Right.
So I have to take care of myself so that I'm able to bring that fresh energy every single time. 6 nights a week for 10 years.
I love that.
So you have to take care of yourself. You really have to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, in every way, so that you have that energy to bring to the people you want to serve.
And at the heart of it, when you showed up every night, you walked out on stage, it was all about the audience. You were there for them and their best interest. And everything you did, that was the payoff.
Sure. I mean, people save up to bring their kids or bring their mom or their spouse to, you know, it's not cheap to see a Broadway show these days, like $125 a ticket right now, I think. And it's a big investment for people. Buying a house, it's a big investment for people, and I have a responsibility to give them everything I have in that moment.
Yeah. So one of the things, guys, is I've been visiting with Sandra is that her heart was she was so passionate about not just singing, but she's passionate about the audience. And when we talk, you're sitting there meeting with a client, that it's not real estate you got to be passionate about, although that is your craft. It's that you've got to be passionate about the people that you are representing, the clients, the prospects that are sitting in front of you, is that all of your skill and all of the time practicing the songs and all of that, it's about at the end, the performance is not a fake thing. It's actually you. This is becoming you on the stage for the benefit of the audience.
For the benefit of the audience and for the payoff of connection.
Yeah.
When I see someone's heart, I connect with them. And when the audience feels something in their heart because of what I've done on stage, they are connecting to me, Sandra, and to me, the character. And that's really what it's all about. That's what is ultimately so fulfilling.
Well, it has been such an inspiration to me to get to hear your story and to get to see how you connected with your audience the way as a real estate professional we connect with our clients. It's awesome. And by the way, we're sitting here at the Westin in Los Angeles at it's called Big Money Speaker Training with James Malinchak, who is absolutely phenomenal. We're both here learning our craft, to become better at what we're doing. And now Sandra is no longer performing on Broadway. She's actually out speaking and training and teaching people how to bring their authentic self and connecting with their audience, their clients or whatever it is, and being able to help other people do that. So we're here learning how to do that better. It's been a fabulous event, and it's all about growth and becoming the best you can be at what you do. So Sandra?
Can I give him one acting tip?
Of course.
That we were talking about earlier. So one thing that actors are taught how to do because sometimes you're saying, well, bring more of myself. Well, how do I do that when I get nervous or whatever? Before the camera does this, when you're doing TV or film, sometimes when you hear that, take 2 or whatever, take 500, you become nervous or you get in your own way, you get in your head, and I think that can happen to us when we're dealing with clients as well. So one of the things that actors are taught how to do is to have, when you're having a conversation, the next time you're speaking with someone that you're very comfortable with, your best friend, your spouse, bring up a topic that you're passionate about, something that's exciting to you. And while you're talking about it, observe the way you communicate. What is your authentic communication style when you're being yourself? This is the way I gesture. This is my tone of voice. This is what my body language is like. And memorize that. Watch so that when you're on, you can recreate your authentic communication style and just be yourself. The actors are trained that before the director yells go, that just don't sit there and prepare. Have a conversation with someone, and so that you can be mentally preparing that, okay, this is me just being me. This is just me talking. And they yell go, and you're right there and you're ready, and you don't become salesperson or actor person.
I love that. So you're performing, but it's the real you performing, not a fake you.
Exactly. Bringing your authentic self into the room.
Well, you have made such an impact on me, and I'm excited to share you with my clients and everybody that sees you on YouTube and so forth. So thank you so much for doing that, and we'll look forward to talking more.
Best of luck, everyone.